In this video, we're going to go through one of the best cartoons out there, We Bare Bears, from start to end, the past of Charlie, how the three, Grizzly Bear, Panda Bear, and Ice Bear met, how each one of them has different dreams, visions, and personalities, and how they lived as talking animals in the human world. The story begins in a dark, unknown place with heavy rain, where a small brown bear was stuck on a tree until the firefighters rescued him. The bear felt safe and was holding the firefighter's hand, who was wondering how this little bear got up there. He was probably abandoned or got separated from his parents, or they have been hunted. After some time, this little bear grew big and found a hosting human family. What's weird is that he was also able to talk. Grizzly Bear wasn't a member of the family actually, but an actor in a comedy show without knowing. A new kid was introduced to the show and took his place, and although he discovered the family wasn't real, he tried his best to stay with them, but he was still replaced. He then decided that he had to leave and look for a real family. In another part of the world, there was a small panda bear in a zoo. He was treated like a laboratory rat because he was able to talk, and they were giving him food from a vent. The guards noticed that Panda Bear was sad and lonely, so they gave him a panda bear puppet that he treated like a friend. One day, Panda Bear noticed through the glass that there was another world outside, different from his world, and he took interest in the TV. Panda Bear decided to escape through the vent, and the guards couldn't catch him. He also said goodbye to the puppet and went looking for a real family. Ice Bear. Ice Bear had the most heart-wrenching story. At the North Pole, we see a scene of a little bear who looks like he got separated from his family, who they might have died or been hunted. The little bear was trying to find food until he noticed a tent. He went inside, and before he knew it, the man tried to kill him, but he got injured and Ice Bear helped him. The man decided to keep the bear and taught him everything about humans. Ice Bear wasn't allowed to touch the man's box, but he still did it when Yuri, that's his name, was outside. Ice Bear saw a picture of Yuri's family, who is obviously long gone, so decided to make him a wooden horse like the one in the picture, but Yuri got mad and kicked him out. Ice Bear ran away crying until some hunters found him, and it seemed as though they hunted his parents too. Anyways, Yuri came to the rescue at the right time and saved Ice Bear by breaking the ice, and as he drifted away, they both looked sad, as if they had lost their families again. Ice Bear landed in a town where humans live, and he didn't know how to act at first, so he tried getting food from a bakery, but he got kicked out. While crying, a few naughty kids came up to him, and he became their friend. They then tried to get revenge on the baker by breaking into his bakery and stealing his money. While doing so, he remembered Yuri and stopped because he's a good bear and it's not like him. The police got there, but he managed to escape and decided to leave the kids for a better life. Okay, now we get to the good part. Let's talk about where they met. In a far land, Grizzly Bear was still looking for a family until he got to a railway track and found Panda Bear stuck in it. He immediately saved him, all the while thinking that he finally found a friend that looks like him. Suddenly, the train came and they were running for their lives until Ice Bear saved them. The three got along super well and decided to become brothers, although they are different kinds. While looking for a family, they arrived in the desert in a box that nobody wanted to take, but the box was somehow stolen, so they kept moving until they arrived at a packaging factory. They tried to build a house with the boxes, but they fell in one and were shipped to a city where they entered a pet store hoping to get adopted. But again, this was in vain, and after a while they got to the ocean and drifted away to a missing island. The bears met Dave and Carla, who were also missing and were trying to escape, until they made it. The bears found an inflatable boat in the wreckage of a plane, which David tried to hide. They took it and sailed alongside Carla. Unfortunately, Carla left them in the middle of the ocean after she got saved by a boat. They then drifted to the Japanese beaches and took a plane to Sweden, which they almost destroyed, only to get pancakes. While trying to adjust to the human world, they found a $100 bill, but didn't know what to do with it, so they treated it like family instead of spending it. After a few more adventures, they meet a robot that predicts the future, and it told them that they have to stay together because they will live a long and happy life. The bears learned to walk on top of each other, play basketball, and win. They joined schools, worked as paper boys, and wrestled in Mexico. A rich man bought them when they debarked to a pet auction because he got bored of stuffed animals. They tried to escape by getting King Kong's help, just like in the movie, but the man finally let them go and gave them a plane so that they could travel. They then arrived at the beach and built a sand house thinking that it would finally be their home. However, of course, the house was destroyed by a huge wave. A few episodes later, we noticed the bears had gotten more used to the human world, and in one episode, a mummy fell off of a truck. They tried to return it to the museum, only to discover that it was actually fake and used for cinema. Days go by and the bears grow up poor without a house. Well, one day they found a lucky amulet, which they thought was magical, and also thought it could get them a house. However, the amulet was stolen by a raccoon, which led them inside the woods where they found a cave. And it's here where they decided it's going to be their home. Episodes go by and they almost lost their home because the humans want to destroy their home to build a telecom tower. However, they protest and prove that it's been their house for so long. In this house, and while getting financial stability, a few characters from the city are introduced, like Nom Nom the arrogant koala, who is obsessed with his views and always takes advantage of the bears. They also meet Chloe, the little Korean girl, who doesn't have any friends because she's shy and has low self-esteem. She's also a fan of Adventure Time. As we see her watching in the first season, the bears tried to help her make friends by inviting people to a party. Her father, though, didn't want her to be friends with the bears, but he changed his mind because he realized the bears are reliable and would be a good influence on her. Okay, now for Charlie. Charlie is a scary chupacabra hiding in the woods. The bears first meet him in the 13th episode of the first season, and rumors spread about a creature wandering around the woods until one day he actually got inside their house, and he actually turned out to be a little bit normal. The bears didn't warm up to him at first, but then they became friends. It was hard for Charlie to adapt to the human world, as he doesn't like cameras, but he still tried to disguise himself to blend in. Now, let's go ahead and dig a little bit into Charlie's past. In the Mexican desert in 1913, Charlie was roaming the world looking for a friend. He suddenly found a passed-out man and took him to an abandoned house, only to discover that he's a liar, a thief, and a member of the Chupacabra Hunters. Charlie managed to escape from them and save the man because the other hunters wanted to get it of them. Oh, by the way, a chupacabra is supposedly a real creature that sucks blood from American folklore. Another chupacabra did appear in the show, but he was bad and tried to hurt the bears. Now let's go ahead and get to know Tabes. She's obsessed with catching Charlie since she first saw him for the first time as a kid. One day, she got stuck in a fire in the woods and Charlie saved her, and since then, she no longer wants to catch him. In the last few episodes, we see how they went on an adventure to save her dog and how they became very close friends. Alright, now let's talk about their adventures and how in the Neighbors episode, new neighbors moved in. They were nice at first, but later the bears discovered that they wanted to kill Grizzly Bear. They were actually wrong, and the couple was wood sculpture artists. However, many believe that they were the ones who killed Grizzly Bear's parents because he was a unique bear. In one episode, they were kicked out of their house because it was a dangerous area. Then they tried to find a place to stay, but they couldn't, until finally they ended up back at their own home. An enemy was later introduced, the pigeons, whom Grizzly Bear freed by mistake, only to discover that they were a dangerous gang that tried to kill him later on. Luckily, the cops caught them and put them back in jail. Unfortunately, they show up again in the Hot Sauce episode to get revenge on Grizzly Bear. The cops wanted to collaborate with the bears to catch the pigeons, but the whole thing was actually a trap set by the pigeons. The bears managed to escape at last and finally put the pigeons back in jail. In the next episodes, a robot tried to get rid of the bears, and Grizzly Bear got braces that turned him into a villain who tried to destroy the world. We also discover a hidden side of Ice Bear when he went out at night with his cleaning robot and met a strange person. He was probably doing something illegal. His robot gets stolen by some strangers who use robots to fight in the ring, and Ice Bear ended up inside the ring, but he was able to destroy all the robots. Ice Bear also hit his head in one episode and became a bad, arrogant, and evil person, but then he hit his head again and he went back to normal. Oh, and there was also an episode where the bears wanted to meet the K-pop group Monsta X on Panda Bear's birthday. It's nothing strange, but it was a really cool interaction between the real group and the show. The very last episode was actually a movie that got released in 2020, where the bears were sent for trial in jail because of all the bad things they caused. Agent Trout thought they were a menace to humanity, so he locked them up in jail. The bears escaped and decided to go to Canada and thought that they had met a lot of people until they reached the borders where they weren't allowed access because they didn't have a passport. Panda Bear and Grizzly Bear get into a fight because it was Grizzly Bear who convinced them that they didn't need a passport. Suddenly, Agent Trout kidnaps them and separates them. Grizzly Bear then sat sadly in his cage, thinking that it was all his fault, but he decided that they're not going to give up and broke out of the cage, saved his friends, and they all got into a fight with the agent that led to a fire. All the bears in the scene made a ladder using their bodies in order to hang on the helicopter and run away. Agent Trout probably just wanted to test them because they're talking and self-conscious bears, unlike the other bears in the scene. And who knows? He might actually be the guy who kept Panda locked up when he was little. Anyways, thanks so much, guys. This has been the whole story of We Bare Bears. Please subscribe, and we'll see you in another video.